Okay, so today we are going to take a PDF and start making something in the browser that works. Of course, this is about board games, and I'm not suggesting you do this with anything that's not your own, obviously. This would be an old game that I made way back when, probably 2010 or earlier. I'm not sure. I don't remember when I designed it. Um, I never got it published. I probably need to go back and do some work on it. But anyway, the game's called Conflict of Plants, and let me show you the PDF. Okay, so here's the PDF. I made a cover for it, introduction to the game, the components, its own little glossary, game overview. It's inspired by dominant species, but it's not dominant species. It's got this really unique way of scoring, which is scoring minority. I'm just going through the pages. There's page 7. The rule book's pretty good. I think it's very in depth on how to play. Um, this is when I was pretty naive to the way publishing works. And I thought, hey, one of my first games, I can get it published, or one of my first games that I took it from original concept to prototypes and trying to take it around. I thought, hey, it's a decent game. Why can't it be me? Why can't I get something published? Now, I had designed other stuff before this, but this is the one that I took it all the way from beginning to end, including prototypes, including a rule book, uh, thoroughly looked over. Um, yeah, so this is the game we're gonna build today. It is based on conflict of plants. You can see you have hexes, you have little vertices things. That's really hard to do. You have dice, which are gonna. There's a little bit of randomness in it. Um, I don't know what we're gonna do once we get it into a browser version. And I say version because we're not going to use my art and stuff. That would be a later video showing you how to build something using your own assets or whatever. We're just going to build this to playtest and mess around with. Um, a lot of board game designers probably have gone from idea to rulebook and need to playtest it. Might not have enough friends around, or might not have enough people around to playtest, or the people they have around are tired of playtesting it or whatever. So you might want to mess with it with some AI things, such as dummy players. There's a whole lot of reasons why you'd want to put it in a browser for you to play with instead of having to bring out a board and play with it that way. Um, this is what I'm going to show you how to do. So, um, there's a lot of ways we can go about doing this, and I'm not showing you the only way. You can definitely refine it. I'm sure other people can come up with better ways. What I'm going to do, I'm at just Google Gemini, and then it'll take you to a Gemini page. If you're not paid for, I believe you'll be using the fast model. You'll want to get into, if you're going to be doing this, I would suggest go ahead and go into a paid version. I'm going to do thinking. These two tiers are for paid. We're going to open Canvas, which is the area that it actually builds stuff in. We're going to go ahead and upload. I'm going to go to this PC. Let's go to we'll go to documents. We'll go to my Gemini stream stuff, which is right here. And we'll go down to Conflict of Plants. Here's where we have the game. I'm going to upload it. Okay. So we've uploaded the rulebook. We haven't given it a prompt. We're about to give it a prompt. One of the things, you can go just directly into talking to it. Let's ask Gemini what's the best way to do it. Just to get you into the mindset of always using Gemini as someone to bounce things off of. I'll go ahead and click it to talk. Don't want that. I'm a board game designer. I have a board game that I've already prototyped. I've made a rule book with illustrations and all the contents of my game. Period. I want to upload my PDF and start working with a browser-based version. I need you to help me make a prompt to go along with my PDF to come up with an action plan to make my physical game into a browser-based game. Will you help me make a prompt? Okay, so that last little bit, I know what do they call it? Anthropomorphize. I humanize AI. I deal with it all the time, so it's just easier to treat it like a person instead of going into, well, it's just predicting, the next word that should be said, and it's all a predicted. It's a model that's all it's doing is predicting what should be said. I try not to think about it that way because we barely understand consciousness. So to say that AI is just prediction, I think doesn't give it its due. But of course, it's not human or it doesn't think really. But, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change what we're trying to do. All right. So let's see if it'll hear whenever it spits something out. Of course, you can just read it. Most people are faster readers than listeners. Since we're doing this on stream, we want to listen.
This is a huge milestone. Moving from a physical prototype to a digital version is a fantastic way to playtest remotely and build an audience. To get the best result from an AI, you need to ask it to wear two hats: a game designer, to understand your rules, and a full-stack developer, to understand how to code them. Here is a comprehensive prompt you can copy and paste along with your PDF upload. The game porting prompt.
Okay, so it said something that we should automatic. I've never done this before, by the way. I tested it earlier, but I've never taken it all the way. So you're going to encounter the bumps as I do. Earlier, all I did was I uploaded the PDF and said, let's make this a board game. And I went through a couple of steps and said, okay, so I think it's possible we'll deal with it in real time because that's authentic. But anyway, so it said something very important. We have an AI taking on two hats. Don't do it. Separate those two hats. It's much better for you in the long run, and it's easy to manage. At least I think it's easy to manage once you get used to it. So keep that in mind. We're gonna make a game designer and a full stack developer. And if we don't know coding, just say, guy working on code.
Prompt. Copy the text inside the box below. Why this prompt works. Logic extraction. Physical rules are often ambiguous. Asking the AI to define the state management forces it to turn the player takes a token into player inventory +1. Asset audit. You might realize you have the illustrations for the cards, but you don't have a digital file for the back of the card or the game board icons isolated. This section helps you create a shopping list of graphics. Tech stack. Not all board games need a game engine. If your game is mostly cards and text, a standard website framework, like React, is actually better than a game engine, like Unity. This prompt asks the AI to evaluate that for you. Scope control. By asking for an MVP, minimum viable product, you ensure the AI doesn't suggest features that will take 3 years to build. Preparation checklist. Before you run this prompt, have a quick answer ready for the following 2 questions, as the AI or a developer will definitely need to know them. Multiplayer. Do you want people to play online against friends on different computers, requires a back-end server, database, or just pass and play on one screen, requires no server? Coding skill. Are you coding this yourself, or are you using this plan to hire a developer? Would you like me to help you define the tech stack section based on your current coding knowledge before you use the prompt?
Okay, so the answer is going to be we're not doing a multiplayer online thing. We're just doing a pass and play. This is for our purposes. Now, if you want to go and explore that, Go right ahead. Maybe I'll do a video on trying to do that. Coding skill, we're going to say none. None at all. Um, so the first thing we're going to do is tell them we're going to use one as a game designer and the other as a full stack developer. I like your prompt, but I think we're going to do two separate tabs. One tab, the AI will only be interested in giving instructions to the coder. They're going to be the game designer. The other, the full stack developer, they're going to take our instructions and start developing the game, doing the coding. We want to keep those two as separate AIs so that we don't time out. Now, if you can see where I spoke to Gemini, you can see it put AIS 3 letters. Hopefully, it'll understand what we're talking about, and we don't have to edit it. The more time we spend editing our prompts, the less time we're inspired to make video games. A lot of people make a real big deal out of making the perfect prompt. That is true if you want a one shot. If you're not going to one shot, I think the best practice is to continue carrying on a conversation, going back and forth, letting the AI know that we're brainstorming or we're doing this. Do you understand? Give me an example. That kind of a thing. It's better to do that than to try to one shot the perfect prompt without any errors in the prompt. Because even if you give it the perfect prompt, you don't know its interpretation. So why not kill that all with one stone and say, let's have a conversation. Human beings, or we're good at talking to each other, so, or generally we're good at talking to each other. So that's what we're trying to do. Oh, and when you have it read these gray markdown things, it usually skips. It's probably going to tell me something like, wow, you're a genius. That's a great idea.
This is a brilliant workflow strategy. By splitting the brain, game logic, architecture from the hands, coding, you avoid token limits and prevent the AI from forgetting the rules while trying to write CSS. Here are the two distinct prompts to use in your two separate tabs, windows. Tab 1, the architect, game logic and specs, goal. Translate your PDF into a technical blueprint, pseudocode, logic flows, and data structures that a coder can understand. Upload your PDF here. Tab 2, the developer, the coder, goal. Take the blueprint from Tab 1 and write clean, working code. Do not upload the PDF here. Instead, you will paste the output from Tab 1 into this prompt. The workflow action plan. Run Tab 1, Architect, with your PDF. Review the output. Does the global state look right? Did it miss a rule? Correct it conversationally if needed. Actually, players start with 5 cards, not 3. Copy the final result from Tab 1. Open Tab 2, Developer, and paste the result into the Input Data section of the prompt. Would you like me to recommend a specific technology for the Constraints section in?
Okay, we don't care about that. All right, so let's go ahead. Here is, we're going to go ahead and move this over here. Here, this is the advice that we just got. Let's go ahead and copy. This is the role of the architect. Basically, it's like a project manager, sort of. And this is the one that wanted the PDF. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We'll start another prompt with a second tab. This AI, we're going to give it the role of the coder. Oh, we need to go ahead and put canvas, make sure canvas is open. We didn't do that here, so we'll just wait and we'll open it up soon. Okay, so this is done. Let's see what we have to say.
This developer blueprint translates the conflict of plants physical rulebook into a logical framework suitable for full-stack implementation. 1. The global state object, JSON structure. The game state must track a complex relationship between hexagonal tiles and the corners where tokens reside.
Okay, so don't get bogged down in the technical language. Any question you have about anything it's saying, you can always ask it to explain it to you, and then you can dictate the level of complexity that it's going to explain it to you. So if you want to say, tell it to me like if I am 12 years old, it'll break it down. If you want it to tell you, if you're a developer or whatever, you can have it tell you more technical stuff. I'm not a developer. I'm just going to let the technical stuff go in one ear and out the other because I'm not coding it.
2. Rules engine, pseudocode, phase navigation, action validation, icon matching, the grass, combat, logic. Minority scoring, phase 6. 3. Asset manifest. The developer will require the following assets to build the UI, asset category. File naming convention, description, tiles, front, tile underscore, region, asterisk, number, link to .png. Marsh, 5, tropical, 6, forest, 4, etc. Tiles, back, tile underscore conflict underscore back link to .png. Standard back for exploration deck. Action disks disk, color, icon, link to .png. 8 per player, foot, weed, grass x3, etc.
Let's just go into
Red tokens
list.
token underscore red asterisk, icon, link to .png. Red background, black icon.
Okay, so we're getting into the weeds of what the game needs. Me teaching you to do this, you don't really need all this stuff. But what we're going to tell her is, let's go ahead. Canvas is open. Here's the thing. I don't want to upload any assets. Currently, we'll just use icons that are available. We'll draw some cheesy, easy little vector stuff as placeholders. Later on, if we decide to go with the actual assets for the game, we can figure that out later, or we'll start all over. But right now, this version, we just want it to be fast loading. We don't want to have a bunch of files to deal with. We're just going to do something that is on your end where I don't have to provide you with anything except for the rules as far as files. Okay, so we're letting it know we're not going to do all that other mess. We can. Okay, here's a problem. We don't want it to code. Okay, so remember, I stopped it. It looks like it doesn't have that information, but in fact it did. It already started down another path. So let me give you some explicit rules. Do not write the full body of code. I have a coder who's an AI that's going to do this for you. So do not write code. That'll be part of our mandate for what you are allowed to do. Let's start this again. Your job is going to be to write the action plan for the coder to make this game. We'll probably have to do it in sections. Your job is to project manage, not to code. Okay, the reason why we did that is because we're going to waste more tokens by having it come up with a plan and code at the same time, because it's like trying to keep a shopping list without writing it down and then writing it down at the same time you're thinking about it, where I don't know, that's really not a good analogy. But basically look at it like this. If it is drawing from its memory as it's writing and as it's writing its action plan and it's trying to commit this to code, it's using up more of your tokens, and it might fail, or it's more likely to fail because it's juggling two things at the same time. Where if we give it an, just say, hey, do this one task, make the action plan. Well, in fact, we could make, now that it did the action plan, we could have it make um, the code, because now it's already written it down. So now it just looks at the list. Like if I write a shopping list, once I write it down, I don't have to have it in my memory. I just have to have the whereabouts of the shopping list. So that's kind of what we're thinking here. Give it a listen. Okay, so see how I don't have that listen thing? I downloaded a extension which just voice to text. Just makes this a lot easier, especially if you're doing a bunch of other tasks, but definitely for streaming.
Understood. I am shifting roles from coder to project manager / lead architect. I will define the development roadmap, logical checkpoints, and architectural requirements for your AI coder. We will break this down into 5 development milestones. Each milestone ensures the foundation is solid before moving to the complex area control logic. I will now generate the master action plan for the development of conflict of plans. Conflict of plans, action plan. January 25th, 8:26 p.m. This plan is ready for your AI coder. I recommend starting with milestone 1, as the abutting icon logic is the most difficult part of the game to calculate manually. If the hex to corner mapping isn't perfect, the rest of the game logic will fail. Would you like me to expand on the specific math for the hex corner mapping in milestone 1 for your coder?
Okay, so now what we're going to do, now we have an action plan. Now, if the power goes out or whatever, we have this. This and the game gets us where we need to be. We can go from there. So what we're going to do, oops, it's not working. Or it's acting funky. Let's go ahead, since it's acting funky, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to, so I'm just trying to use Gemini. I mean, like, depending on what plan you're on, how many tokens you have, and what you want to do or what you want to learn to do, I would say use Gemini for just about everything, just to get used to using AI. The more comfortable you are with AI and you start learning its limitations and start coming across the bumps or the hurdles in the road and going past them, it's easier to teach other people and yourself how to get through this process, because it's not seamless. Not yet. Maybe in the future it'll be. Please write me a notebook plus type application. I need it to work like Notebook, where I can put plain text. I also need it to deal with HTML. I need it to be able to deal with JavaScript. I also need it to be able to deal with CSS. Go ahead and make it tabbed, so I can click on different tabs, and I can even add new tabs. Can you make this application? So instead of me doing all this off screen, just trying to get you used to using AI and how powerful it is, and when you come against an issue, you are looking at the tool, the very tool that caused you the issue can be the very tool that helps you get past the issue. Okay, so as it does that, what we're doing is we're building a way to save this, because this is our baby right here. This is what we need. Usually you can click right here, but it's not working right. Usually you can click right here and go, there we go. It's supposed to say saved document, but for some reason it's not working correctly. I'm having some weird interactions here. I don't know what it is. But anyway, the coder built this little thing. We don't need that. All right, so here is the WebPad ++ thing that it built. Here's the save thing. Let's see if it works. So we'll go over here. We got that copied. Go here. Paste. That's a horrible format. Let's see. I like what you've built, but unfortunately, when I'm pasting stuff in there, I'd like it to automatically know how to format it. Like if it's plain text, I don't need it to write it out like if it's code. Is there any way to have it where it understands when I'm pasting something, whether it is code and what kind of code it is, or if it's just plain text? That way the formatting doesn't get lost. While it's doing that, let me look at this little game that it made. Player one. Select a color. Player one, how do you select a color? Oh, okay. So the pawn moved to there or moved to there. Player two moved to there, so it made a little chess deal with only kings. It didn't have any of the more complex pieces. All right, so here we got that. Let's see what happens. Boom. Let's see what it says.
I can certainly add that. I will implement an auto detection feature that analyzes the content you paste. If it looks like HTML tags, CSS rules, or JavaScript functions, it will automatically switch the language mode for you. Here is the updated code for WebPad++. I've added a smart detect language function that runs whenever you paste content into the editor. It checks for HTML, look for tags or doc type. CSS, look for the standard selector property, value, pattern. JavaScript, look for keywords like function, const, let, equals, arrow functions, or console.log. If it matches any of these, it immediately switches the tabs mode to the correct language, so your formatting and syntax highlighting, if we added it later, would be correct, or in this case, the preview mode will render it correctly. If it doesn't look like code, it defaults to plain text.
Okay. Next part is it doesn't really have the formatting I need for a document. Basically, I had an action plan made by Gemini 3.0, and whenever I made that document and I pasted it here, it got rid of all my formatting. I really need that formatting for this thing to be worth anything to me. Here's what I was trying to paste, and you can see all the formatting's gone whenever I put it inside of WebPad++. I put quotation marks around what I pasted so it would know it was separate from what I'm prompting. It would have figured it out. I was just, just worst case. Once we get this saved as our golden rulebook thing, then we can move forward. It's important because, even though we can generate this in seconds, this is our gateway into our making prompts that it can understand more easily. And what I mean by that is if we just prompt it like I like to prompt it, we'll have to do a little bit more editing. Whenever it actually makes code, you want to get everything clear before it makes the prompt. So I guess that's kind of contradictory to what I said earlier. When you have an AI and you're using that AI as a buddy to bounce ideas off of and whatnot, and you have a coder that's a technical thing going to do something for you, what you can do with the one AI is get it right as far as make sure they understand what you're talking about, and then have them make a prompt for another AI that'll just do the code that you're not actually interacting with in like a personal way. So let's see, copy. Let's see if you pulled it off. It figured out that it was a text, but it didn't. I pasted my text in there and it didn't work again. It was just plain text. Oops. I put my text in there and it came out just as plain text. It didn't keep any of the bold. It didn't keep any of the spacing. It didn't keep any of the things that I need on the word part of it. on the Word document or the text document part of it. All the things I needed don't seem to be working. Can you add those things? I don't know if you've noticed, but the AI is very proactive. So whenever I um, ask it if it can do something, it's just going to start doing it. Even if I didn't say code, it'll just start coding. You have to be very aware of that and cognizant of when do you want it to code and when do you not want it to code. In general, you want AIs that are going to code separate from the AIs that are going to um, interact with you, understand, making the plans. When you have an AI and you're making plans and doing all that, once you start getting it to code, it can do what they call context collapse, where it starts hallucinating and it starts referring to stuff that is more later than earlier or more earlier than later, and it gets to the point where you're just going to have to start all over, and you can lose a lot of your progress, especially if your AI was there from the very beginning of the project to the end of the project. A lot of times you want to keep that same buddy of yours. That's just the way I'm going to put it. Like, this is who you're bouncing ideas off of. This is who's writing the code. This is who's helped you and understands what's going on. The sooner it starts doing hallucinating, or as soon as it starts doing context collapse or starts hallucinating, then that AI isn't any good to you anymore. And the more you force it to do, the quicker that's going to happen. It's going to happen. So periodically, you need to save your data. You tell it, write me a history of what we've done, write me a history of what we've talked about, be very comprehensive, or you just have it constantly document when you're at a space like and you have breathing room. You need to get all of that documented so that when you go back and you have to start all over, you can just upload the documents to the new AI and feel like you're starting from the same place you left off versus starting from scratch every time and have to explain the project to them, have to explain what you've done, or worst case, it's going to hallucinate what it wants to into your project. Okay, so something that's important that happened is that it crashed a while ago. Its application that it made crashed, so it tried to fix it. Okay, it's not working there. So we're going to say, whenever I started to try to paste in the text, the document crashed. I mean, the application crashed completely. It's just a black screen. I need you to fix that. Okay, well, it's doing that. What we're going to do is go ahead and we're going to copy this. We're going to go here. We're going to place, I'm going to put quotation marks around it. We're going to upload the conflict of plans. So here's the coder. We're giving him the action plan. At the same time, we have another coder building us a way to save the action plan. I mean, you don't have to do this. You can just save it in a doc or whatever, but I'm kind of just showing you on the extreme case, you can have AI do so much. Okay, so we've done this. We're going to start by saying, so we're just going to, we'll paste this and see what happens. And over here, it's working on fixing that. Here's our document. Now, ideally, you can just go over here to the side, click here and it has a list of the things you've done. Like it'll have a list here of the prompts you've made. Usually, see how it didn't have a list? So sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, that's when you're like in trouble, because if you're relying on old conversations to be available, sometimes they're not, because this is all server based. You're contacting the Google servers. It's not giving you this information that you need. So luckily, we still have this in our window and we need to save it. It made that document. Let's see if we can save our action plan and it have the correct formatting. There we go. That's good enough. All right, we've got read mode. It went into read mode. Perfect. Cool. Now we're going to save this. Let me check off camera and see if it saved anything. Okay, there's a new tab. That's cool. We almost have it. There's the types. We've got read mode, preview mode, read mode. That's cool. Let's ask it to make a better way to save it. Let me check and see if it saved anything. I don't think it did. It did not. Let me make sure. I like everything so far, but the saving feature isn't working. And it would be really cool if the preview little screen was longer, but if that's not possible, that's fine. The big thing is I need saving to be a little bit better, where I can actually save a name and it actually save onto my desktop. I mean, save into the download folder. Can you get that fixed? Here it goes. Conflict of plants is being started. It's working, so when it's done, we'll see what's up. This other AI is working as well. I'm using the same account. As you can see, my work account is there, as well as there, as well as there. I'm kind of curious if... Okay. See, whenever you're in Gemini, you click this little... I guess it's like the hamburger menu, whatever kind of menu they call that. You have other prompts that I have given here, so you can go to earlier conversations. Sometimes it doesn't save up to date, so sometimes you'll go to a conversation and it's like, well, the last 3 things in our conversations, meaning the last 3 prompts, are not available. So you need to put all these little, you need to do all these little things so you don't lose it. Having creative work and losing the creative work is absolutely crappy. That's the thing I hate the most, is losing creative work, because my memory isn't good enough to recall that. Where is the save as? Okay, so in this case, here's what we're going to do. We'll go to the code. We're going to copy the code. We're going to preview this. We're going to refresh the whole screen. And the reason why we're refreshing it, because sometimes it makes a change on the server side and it is not uploaded on your end. Okay, that's how you do that. I'm still having trouble with the saving option. I click the little saving icon and nothing happens. No modal comes up and asks me, how to change it or anything. There's no automatic. It would be fine if it was just a window and I go ahead and there's a default name and I hit the click and it'll save it, and I can just change the name. I just need a way to be able to save it because right now I cannot save anything, and that's kind of like the point of this. It's working on conflict of plants. We're still here. This one was the AI that was telling us the plan on how to do it. So the original AI that prompt was, here's, I want to build a game. It didn't even get the game. All it got was, or did I upload the game? Let's see. No, all it knew is I'm trying to develop a game. I had a PDF. It gave me instructions. I told it I want to split those two roles because it told me basically the AI would need to do these two things. It told me I was brilliant, of course. Then we went to this AI, which is going to be like a project manager. It's going to be in charge of telling the coder what to do. This AI is the coder, so it's working on coding. This one is just doing us a little side project. We want to make a web pad so that we can save our files that are going to be HTML and CSS and JavaScript. They're probably going to be combined, but just in case we have to separate the files, it'll be easier to do. Boom. Okay, so let's see if it works. We want to go here. We want to copy all of this information. Go here. Okay, that still worked. Great. There is no modal. Okay, so here's what happened. When I clicked it, it went to gray like it's going to bring up a modal, but it didn't do anything. Is it because it's in the canvas area? If it is, we got to go through a whole different process. Okay, so we have that going on. Conflict of plants is still being messed with here. You can see it doing its thing. Hopefully it's not timing out and trying to do everything at once, which is what I'm afraid of. It's very possible. Working on that there. I have a suspicion about this. So what we're going to do here is go ahead and make a Word++ application for just HTML. Oh, before we do that, we want to turn on canvas. Oh, no, not Nana Banana. We want to go canvas. Build me a WordPad++ type app in Canvas so that I can save HTML onto my computer. Yeah, I'm really worried here. It's doing a lot of thinking, and it's possibly going to time out. We've got our WordPad++, our WebPad++ here. We have the more complex one here being generated. If this works, we don't have to worry about that other one, but the other one's just because I have a sneaking suspicion that, okay, it's not working. It's probably because of the canvas. Let's see what it says.
It seems the animation I used for the notification, which shifts the element to center it, was also applied to the save window, but since the save window was already centered, the animation pushed it off to the side, potentially making it invisible or cut off on smaller screens. I have corrected this by creating a specific pop-in animation for the save window that keeps it perfectly centered. Here is the fixed application.
Okay, the application is not working. Let's go ahead and reload this application. We'll make one more attempt to save our stuff. Boom, no good. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Going to take this application. We're going to take its code. We're going to go to this, the other WordPad thing we built. Paste this in there. We basically have a WordPad within WordPad. Let's save it. Okay, it's saved. Let's go ahead and open it. That's going to be off screen, but all I did was open where it was at. And I'm going to place it in a easy place to find it, which is in my documents, Gemini stream. I'm going to rename it. We're going to call it WebPad Mo. Okay, so we don't need this anymore, but just we'll see we'll see. This is going to be cool. Check this out. Okay, so here is the second WordPad. This isn't the good one. This isn't the one that can tell the difference between the different types of files. What we're going to do is we're going to take the code. We're going to copy the code. We're going to preview the code. We're going to paste that code in here. We're going to save this version. Save. Oh, it's saved as an image, and that's not what we want to do. We want to save. Oh, no, it did right here. Okay, so I have two versions of it. We're going to copy that, put it in the right place, paste. This is just going to be, let's call it web mo 1. So we have these two things going on. So we should be able to, we'll open in our browser. We'll go to, these are the two things we have. This is WebMo 1 was the second one that we built. So it's just an editor. A real simple, this one only deals with HTML. That's probably the only one we'll need. But let's see if the other one actually works. This is the other one that can tell what kind of file you have. So let's see our original problem. This is what we need it for. Okay, let's see if we can save it. Ah, the problem is the modal's too low. Okay, so let's go here and tell it, this is the one that we have working. This is great. Go here. This is the one that is the one that, in case we want to separate out our CSS and JavaScript. You know, if you're here just for the board game stuff, this is going to be actually really helpful because you can see all the crazy stuff we can do. Okay, so the modal ended up popping up too low. That seems a problem. So what you could do is either make it higher or just put it on that top eyebrow thing that's where it says WebPad ++ and it's got the save thing. Basically, I just need to be able to save it, even if it just uses Firefox and saving. But right now, I can't see the modal because it's too low. I'm guessing because my browser's too small. Okay, so let's have it fix the problem. Because I'm not able to do anything here. So that one's no good to me right now. Copy this, make sure it's the what I have in the okay, so see how this thing is just spinning? It's not working. We're gonna go ahead and stop that because that's a waste. It won't stop. Usually you can hit the stop button here. So we'll go ahead and just hit return here, which will refresh it. Oh, so it had a problem retrieving the server information. Now that doesn't mean that this is going to work. That just means that it did produce something that we couldn't see. Okay, so we'll be playing with the game here in a moment. This one is working on the code for this. While it's working on it, we can take a look and see what we have here. Fortunately, we can't play the audio, so we'll go to here, see what it say.
I will now proceed with milestone 1 of your master action plan. I will restructure the project for conflict of plants, implementing the axial hex coordinate system, the graph map, tiles and corners, and the specific setup logic for the conflict tile and its white tokens. Virtual project structure. If this were a local repository, the structure would be modularized as follows to support the complexity of the abutting icon logic.
Okay, and then we'll go here. Luckily, we did milestone 1.
Implementation, milestone 1, logic and state. I have rewritten app.jsx to be a dedicated engine for conflict of plants. It includes the hex math, the graph generation.
Okay, so I paused that while we're working on that. As you can see, this timed out. The way I know that is because my prompt is still here, and this is spinning. So I'm refreshing it. It's going to take it to its last step. It might have fixed it because it might have been a server-side to me issue. Putting the text. See how saving works, doesn't work. I'm still having the saving issues with this document. Can you fix it? The modal is too low. So either remove the modal and make it really easy for the browser just to save it. For some reason, there's some kind of conflict between me hitting the saving button and the browser saving it. It is, I'm using Firefox. Maybe that'll help you. We'll have that work with that. Okay, we'll continue.
Linking tiles to corners, and the initial state setup with the conflict tile and white tokens. I have also included a debug view renderer so you can visually verify that the graph topology, corners shared between specific tiles, is correct. Summary of changes. Coordinate system, hex utils. I implemented the axial, QR, system as requested. This allows us to mathematically determine neighbors using the directions constant. Graph topology, build graph. I created the logic to generate tiles based on coordinates. Crucially, I implemented the logic to generate corners from tiles. By rounding the pixel coordinates of the geometric corners to the nearest integer, I ensure that corners shared by adjacent hexes snap to the same ID, coordinate key, satisfying the requirement that corners are unique and shared. Setup logic, create initial state. The board initializes with the conflict tile at 0,0. 6 start tiles are placed around it. The 6 corners of the conflict tile are populated, one with white underscore start, face up, and the others with white underscore grass, face down. Visual debugger, the UI renders the hexes and draws dots at the corners. The fact that the white tokens appear exactly on the vertices of the conflict tile confirms the graph logic is sound. You are now ready for milestone 2, where we will implement the phase engine to rotate those white tokens.
Okay, so it did this really cool thing. It made the hexes, which is badass. It labeled them. You know, later on we'll do graphics. We're just getting the groundwork done. So we have a start. It's going to work on milestone 2. We'll talk about what the milestones are, because it made a plan to do it in different phases. Its little data structure sample thing is down there, which is great. Let's see if our WordPad thing works real quick. If I can't get it to work, we're going to start a new prompt. There we go. Nice. Let's go ahead and say, we'll call this the conflict of plants. What was it that we're doing here? Oh, it's an action plan. AP. Cool. Download. It did work. Awesome. Okay, so off camera. We'll get that. I don't know if, I assume Firefox can work with markdowns. There we go. Oh. Anyway, there it is. I don't like the format, but there's our action plan. Let's get this guy, right? This multiple, the thing that can do CSS, JavaScript, and HTML. Let's go ahead and get the code here. Let's go ahead and put it in our WordPad++. You know, there's the preview of what it is. Let's save it. Okay, off camera. Let's copy this version, paste it. This one, we'll rename it to webpad add mo. Let's see how that works real quick. Okay, so we've done that. We'll do new here. Okay. Let's see if it works. There we go. Cool. And then we take our info here, copy it, paste it here. Great. Here's our document like we want it. Awesome. We could do markdown, plain text, whatever. Awesome. So we have two ways to deal. Oh, we don't need that. We have two ways to deal with HTML. Let's just use our web pad that we built, not this other web pad. We'll use that web pad until we have to divide it into, if we have to refactor it, we'll do that. And refactoring is just separating the different types of code into smaller bundles. Don't worry about all the technical stuff. Okay, so one of the things we want to do is copy this and save it. We take it off a preview of its first phase of our action plan. We're going to copy all of this. We'll put it in our word pad. We're going to paste it in there. It won't allow us to save it as HTML, so maybe we need the other word pad. Let's see how that one does. It was this one. I'd like to see it should detect it. It said switching to HTML. It's not working all that great, so let's go HTML. The detector thing, not great. But anyway, we'll work on that later. So we know this is an HTML file. We'll put it in the right place. Off camera, I'm saving it as Conflict of Plants game. Open it, Conflict of Plants game, which is here. Oh, not great. Okay, so let's tell it, let's work on this WordPad thing, which was this one. When I'm pasting HTML in the WordPad, it doesn't seem to preview my document. I don't know what's going on or what's wrong with it. And let's go ahead and give you a sample of that HTML. Because it might tell me there's something wrong with the HTML itself. Yeah, we would be so far ahead if we just did a commercial WebPad Plus and put it in there and all that. But this is good. You want to come across problems because I'm here to help you get past these little problems. It would have been nice if this would have worked. The problem that we have here is we need to save this. Copy contents. It's not going to help us. Hopefully I can figure out. It's because of the React part. React and JSX, just more coding crap. Um, I don't want to bog you down in the weeds and just give you a bunch of information. Plus, I'm not a coder. I can't give you the right information. But it detected the problem. It's going to work on this WordPad thing real quick so that we can move forward. While it's doing that, multitasking like a mofo.
Master Action Plan, Conflict of Plants Digital Port. Milestone 1, Data Architecture and Hex Graph Foundation. Objective, establish the coordinate system and state management required for abutting icon logic. Coordinate system, implement an axial, QR, hex coordinate system. The graph
That's
map,
this thing.
* create a tiles object where keys are axial coordinates. Create a corners object. Each corner must be uniquely identified by the 3 tiles that meet at that point. Logic rule, every tile object must have a reference to its 6 corners. Every corner object must have a reference to its 1 to 3 tiles. Token state, corners must hold a token slot. Tiles must hold a cubes object, tracking counts for all 4 colors.
Okay, so it had an error in our little coder pad thing. So we're fixing that real quick. Now here, we're going through what it's doing. It's going in one ear out the other for me because...
Initial setup logic, write the script to shuffle and place the 6 starting tiles around a 0,0 conflict tile and populate the 6 corners of the conflict tile with the initial white tokens, 5 face down, 1 face up. Milestone 2, the phase engine and sequential logic. Objective, build the state machine that cycles through the 9 game phases and manages turn order.
Okay, so, I'm not letting everything just go out one ear out the other, but I'm sort of understanding because I know the game of what it's trying to do. But I'm getting a rough view of what's happening. If I wanted it explained to me, I would copy all this, put this in a prompt, and say, explain this to me like if I was a 10-year-old.
Phase controller, create a current phase and active player state. Phase 1, change round logic to flip the next white token clockwise on the conflict tile corners. Phase 2, manipulation virtual dice roller. Logic to filter non-white tokens on the map that match the dice faces and allow the player with the lowest score to swap them. Phase 3, dispense implement the 4-2-1 cube placement steps. Validation rule, before placement, the engine must check tile.corners to see if any corner contains a token matching the icon used by the player. Penalty logic, if no valid placement exists or supply is empty, subtract 1 VP per cube. Milestone 3, the action engine, phase 4 logic. Objective, program the specific behaviors of the 6 core action icons. Movement helper, create a reusable move cube, from tile, to tile, color, function. Action, foot, logic to draw from tile deck, place adjacent, and calculate +2 VP per neighbor. Action, grass, combat implement the iterative removal logic. Step A, remove 1 opponent cube. Step B, remove 1 of every player's cube, including active. Step C, repeat until only 1 species remains. Action, water/wind, logic for selecting cubes and moving them to adjacent tiles. Action, seedling, logic for minority scoring on a single tile abutting a wheat icon. Milestone 4, global scoring and maintenance, phases 5 to 8. Objective, automate the complex area control calculations. Phase 5, modify map logic to select an empty corner and place a red token matching the player's action disk. Phase 6, score minority * scan map for all tiles with a wheat token on a corner. Calculate grass value, sum of abutting grass icons, noting x2 and x3 multipliers. Identify player with the strictly lowest cube count, no tie breaking. Phase 7, reward majority * determine majority player per tile. If majority exists, allow player to select 1 red token from the abutting icons to add to their action pool. Phase 8, balance automatic loop that checks tile.cubes.total tile.region number. Remove 1 of every player's cube until the condition is met. Milestone 5, UI/UX and edge case hardening. Objective, connect a logic to a procedural SVG interface and handle game end. Game over logic, trigger after phase 9 of round 6. Calculate winner based on points, then red token count as a tiebreaker. Visual feedback, highlight legal tiles during the dispense phase based on the active action disk. Input guardrails, prevent players from selecting the conflict tile for cube placement until the key grass token is revealed.
Okay, so that's what we're going to get the coder to do. It did phase 1. Here's phase 1. But the other problem we're trying to do is me making a web pad that can deal with React. So let's see if this will work. So we're going to show the code, copy the code, take it to our WordPad. Not that WordPad. Take it to the WordPad. There it is. Let's go ahead and save it. I called it like test or something like that. 1 second. Test COP. All right, let's see what happens when we put in this code. Okay. It switched to HTML, but it doesn't allow me to save it. So we're having the same problem that we are on the small scale over here. Here. Whenever I place the HTML code into the web pad and it switches to HTML correctly, I still have problems saving it. It like doesn't allow me up to the top to push the little save button. I don't know what's going on whenever I add the HTML file to this app. So it's going to work on it. So the reason why we're not doing anything here is because we need to be able to save this. You could go forward, but let's say there's a server-side issue, you don't get the information back, and you're never able to get this prompt back, you will lose this. Every time that it, to show you, every time that a prompt starts your task, it's going to do it differently. It's creative in a very bad way. So here is what I'm saying. So let's get conflict of plants. We put it in here, right? And then we go over here to our action plan. We're going to copy it. We're going to paste it in here. We're going to open up, we're going to open up Canvas, and it's going to give us a whole different version. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put quotes so it knows that this is separate. I'm going to Control A, Control C, select all, copy, delete it. I'm going to go ahead and give it a prompt first. Please make this in Canvas. And then put that there. So all I did was paste it after my prompt. It's going to generate something that's different than this. It's so wacky. Okay, so here it goes. We're working on our WordPad. This is our way to save our progress. Now, this video could have been so much shorter. We could be almost done if I just used a commercial WordPad Plus or whatever, WebPad Plus, whatever. But like I said, I'm trying to show you, you have like endless amount of things you can do here. And of course, endless amount of problems. We'll go to the code side. We're going to copy the code. We're going to go here. Let's see if we finally get it to work. No. I'm still having the same issues. It may be the fact that it's in the Canvas environment, but it's still not working. Where I paste the code, it switches to HTML, and I'm not able to save it. Well, this time it just called it a text file even. It didn't even switch it to HTML, and I'm not able to save it. So we're having the same issues. Oops. This one, it timed out. How I know it timed out, the second prompt that I tried this, because this is going in circles and we have my text here. So stop it. It doesn't stop. Because it doesn't stop, we want to hit that. Okay, same prompt. The only difference in the two instructions is that I made sure that it did it in canvas. Check this out. Same prompt. Those are similar. This one decided not to do the environment down here. This one's lately. This is weird. It's wind, sun. I guess those are supposed to be the tokens. Rotate, advance, roll dice. It did a lot more than the first. What was it called? The first phase, milestone 1. You were not supposed to do all the milestones at once. They're milestones because we only want to do milestone 1 first. So we have to redo all of this and just do milestone 1. It's working on the WordPad. We have phase 1 of the implementation of the game. And this, I know it's slightly annoying because we should be further. But the cool thing is we weren't in design brain. We're in build brain from something we already have. Okay, so I've gotten nowhere with this. So instead of continuing down this, which feels doomed, let's start another prompt. So I'm just going to stop there. We'll go to Gemini. We'll start a new prompt. Open up the canvas area. I need to build a WebPad++ type application. It needs to be able to tell the type of document that I'm pasting in there. I will only paste HTML, CSS, JavaScript, some fancy React stuff, and I'll show you the code for that. And the main things, whenever I put regular text in there, or HTML or CSS or whatever type of text I put in there, whatever kind of code I put in there, I need it to know what kind of code that I'm making. I mean, what kind of file that I'm making, and automatically switch to that. I need it to be able to save. I need, whenever I get a document that has, bold and a markdown and all that, and bullet points, I need not just plain text. I need it to be able to see that kind of text. The difference between a markdown file and a, let's just say, maybe I've got a file that's just a regular document that has bold, italics, all the fancy stuff, numbers, bullet points. So make me an action plan to make this application. That's probably where I screwed up in the beginning. I should have just had it made an action plan. This reshuffle setup. Okay, the problem with this is these icons should be on the little tiles here. But we'll go to, anyway, we'll go to milestone 2. Let's go ahead and develop milestone 2. I don't really like this one. I mean, it's kind of cool. I like the aesthetics of it, but it's kind of not right. Okay, so here's the the smart web pad. I like the name of that. Build it. It's working on phase 2. I want to save this one because this is I kind of like this. This is not complicated. It didn't mess up and put these icons just on these hexes. Those icons are supposed to belong on these. and I could do a mouse over and get this kind of stuff later. This is probably going to like work in one shot because I was smart enough to ask it to make an action plan first. I hope that you didn't start this, which might be a series because I might do it in different parts. Start this series with the idea that there would be no problems or anything like that. I'm here to help a person do it. Otherwise, there would be no point in me making a video. So let's see. Whenever I get regular plain text and I copy it into our new deal, problem is that it didn't detect let's see what it does. Let's go ahead and refresh it. Let's see what it does whenever I put in this. It seems to work. Save. Awesome. We're going to call that phase 1. Of course, I did that off camera. We're going to copy it. Going to paste it. And it seems to, it looks like this type of file will not open on HTML, on, whatchamacallit, on Firefox. So we'll ask it about it. We've got all the tools we need. So let's go, boom, we're going to ask it. When I save this file, it saves as a JavaScript source. Does it need to be written in a different way, or am I not understanding how it should be saved for me to be able to open it in Firefox? Here's the file. We're going to copy that. We're going to paste it within quotes. You know what I was saying before is going through all these problems and everything is why I'm here, to help get through it. It might be a little bit confusing because I have a crap ton of tabs opened, but you get the gist. Get the tool. If you have the tools already, you can just download a web pad, and that would have made it easier. Oh, it started writing the HTML that we need for this thing. So I've already copied that version. Can you make the adjustment to what you have in Canvas right now to where it can be saved as an HTML so that I can open it in a separate tab? The only reason I feel safe to do that is because I've already saved this as a JavaScript source. And so now if it screws up and I can't get back to it, I have a file that says JavaScript source. It's going to do its thing. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Maybe it's writing. It is writing. Cool. We'll look at that here in a second. This was a mistake. Well, not really. It's that I assumed that this was going to be HTML that that could be ran. But basically, by looking at this and knowing that it changed it dawned on me that it needed to be wrapped up in HTML, and I think that's what he's saying. So, it's telling me the original.
You are not
file.
understanding it wrong. You are just missing the container that browsers need to run this code. The problem: browsers, like Firefox, cannot run the file you saved for 3 reasons. It's just a script. Browsers need an HTML file, a web page, to load the script. It uses JSX. Browsers don't understand the tags inside JavaScript. They need a translator, like Babel, to turn that into standard JavaScript. It uses imports. The import React. Syntax requires a build system.
Okay, while we're listening to why it didn't work, Conflict of Plans, the phase 1 version that we liked, there was an error as it was trying to do the HTML, so we're going to fix the error, let it do its thing. Go back to here.
Or specific setup to find those libraries on the internet. The solution: create a single file web page. To make this work immediately without installing complex tools, like Node.js, you need to wrap your code in an HTML file that pulls in the necessary tools from the internet automatically. Do this. Copy the code block below. Create a new file on your computer. Paste the code in. Save it as game.html. Make sure it ends in HTML, not JS. Double-click game.html to open it in Firefox.
Okay, it wrote it and fixed it. Basically, I didn't want it to write code. So if I was on a lower tier, I would be really upset because it used up all my tokens. I would have stopped it. So when we don't like, it's working on Conflict of Plants. Phase 1, fixing it to where HTML works. Boom. Cool. So hopefully this is it. Boom. It said make sure it in the document type HTML. Great. That was the first line. Last line HTML. So we're good there. We will copy that. I hit the share, copy contents. We'll go to our WordPad++. Let's go ahead and refresh this. We'll refresh the whole thing. Perfect. It's in our environment. We'll go ahead and save it. Now we're in a good place. Let me go ahead and copy that, put it in the correct place. We'll rename it to, we'll rename it to phase 1. Phase uno. Awesome. So now, all right. So this is working great. So what we're going to do is close that. Close that. Close that. This version of the game, not a real big fan. I might save it here in a second. But we will go ahead and open phase 1. Phase 1, the HTML file. There it is. The interesting thing is that it's off center, but that's fine. It's stuff that can be fixed later. What does this do? Don't know. There's our phase 1 that was done here. This is this saved in a file. Great. So if it messes up, we can always get back to this section. Now, let's implement phase 2. Now it's going to work on phase 2. Phase 2 is
Milestone 2. the phase engine and sequential logic. Objective, build a state machine that cycles through the 9 game phases and manages turn order. Phase controller, create a current phase and active player state. Phase 1, change round logic to flip the next white token clockwise on the conflict tile corners. Phase 2, manipulation virtual dice roller. Logic to filter non-white tokens on the map that match the dice faces and allow the player with the lowest score to swap them. Phase 3, dispense implement the 4-2-1 cube placement steps. Validation rule, before placement, the engine must check tile dot corners to see if any corner contains a token matching the icon used by the player. Penalty logic, if no valid placement exists or supply is empty, subtract 1 VP per cube.
Okay, so that's what it's going to work on. We're going to go here with that other WordPad thing that we were building. Let's test it with this code, which is here. Let's see what it do. Is it the right code? It didn't copy at all. So for some reason, not all of it's in our, let's refresh it. Yeah, it's not long enough or something. I pasted a document into the Smart WordPad++. It was not able to get all the code. It's like too long. I don't know what's going on with it. Here's what I pasted in there, and it's basically didn't paste everything. After, looks like line 40, it just went in its long straight string instead of posting it like you would normally see code. I'm guessing this WordPad doesn't have enough room to paste all of it. Here's what the code looks like. All right, well, it's doing that. Boom. Interesting. This is our next section. Die roll, we have this. Select two matching non-white tokens to swap. So it's these two. Select. It swapped them, I assume. Okay, so we'll roll the dice. One of the dice says grass. One of the dice says seedling. Here's a seedling. Here's a grass. There's no more out there. I'm selecting a seedling, selecting the grass, and it swapped them. It did the thing. Refresh. Roll the dice. We have a seedling, which is here, and then a grass, which is there. So we'll go seedling, grass, and it swapped it, I believe. Let's make sure. Roll the dice. We have water, wind, and we're going to swap them. So here's the water. Here's the wind, swapped. Foot and water, swapped. Great. It's got phase 2. Let's look at phase 2. What do we want in phase 2?
Milestone 2, the phase engine and sequential logic. Objective, build the state machine that cycles through the 9 game phases and manages turn order. Phase controller, create a current phase and active player state. Phase 1, change round logic to flip the next white token clockwise on the conflict tile corners. Phase 2, manipulation virtual dice roller. Logic to filter non-white tokens on the map that match the dice faces and allow the player with the lowest score to swap them. Phase 3, dispense implement the 4-2-1 cube placement steps. Validation rule, before placement, the engine must check tile dot corners to see if any corner contains a token matching the icon used by the player. Penalty logic, if no valid placement exists or supply is empty, subtract 1 VP per cube.
Okay, problem is it didn't do it all. It didn't do all of that. It just did a little bit of it.
I will now implement phase 2, manipulation. This involves upgrading the game state to track players, rounds, and phases, adding the logic for the black tokens, so there are items to swap, and building the die/swap interaction engine. Here is the updated conflict_of_plants.html with phase 2 logic.
Okay, so in the implementation of milestone 2, I see you've done parts of it, but you haven't finished all the parts that you were supposed to do. which makes me wonder. I need to go back to phase 1 and see if phase 1 was done correctly. The dice looks great. The dice swapping different types of tokens, that seems to work. But what I don't see any of the other stuff in Milestone 2 that were supposed to be added. We're not going to save this because I think this is relatively easy. We're not far, and I'm still working on the web thing. This one at least went phase 1 or Milestone 1. It did phase 2. It's working on. This is more what we were looking for, but this is the actual project. I'd have to go back to this project. I mean, it's the same game, but I don't like this thing, whatever it's doing here. I would need to go back to Milestone 1 and rebuild it if I wanted this one, which we might do. This is suspect. We'll see. I might be having problems receiving the data from the server, or it might be a Google site issue. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and stop it. See, I was right. It's not receiving the stuff from the server. See how it's spinning like it's thinking. I'm hitting the stop button. It's not doing anything. So I'm going to refresh here. The data probably is there. There's some kind of little error between here and there. Here is the new version. Here's the code. Copy it. It was able to do the whole thing. Cool. We're going to save it as a HTML file. Let's make sure it didn't screw anything up. I don't see the end of it. Oh, there's HTML. I don't think that's how it's supposed to end. I don't know anything about coding, but I know that don't look right. Script body HTML. So it stopped. We've got, it's possible it's there. Let's see if it saves it and if it does anything. We'll call this jump test. Let's see what happens. Let's see if it even opens it. Hopefully it's just something I can't see. Well, apparently so. Same thing. Cool. So this is working. We have a WordPad++ that's working. It detected. I have different ways to be able to choose. All this is good. We want to copy its code. We're going to take it to Word++. Why is it not seeing that? Oh, it's... Please make this an HTML file. Same problems we had before is it's Java something else, React, whatever. Stuff I don't know. I'm a game designer. I'm not a web developer. I'm just doing this to be able to play my game. All right, so we got start game, phase 1. Reveal action. This should water. Place blue player. Let's go. Here's water, right? It put 4 tokens there. Reveal action. Wind. Place 2 cubes in the wind. Wind is here. It placed 2. Reveal water again. Place 1 cube. Reveal action seeding. Place 4 cubes in the seed area. Boom. Reveal action. Place 2 cubes the foot. So we'll go here. Reveal action, wind. This allows me to put 1 cube there. As you can see, the different player colors are there. Flip next token. Boom, we've got round, we got the dice, foot and foot. Reveal discs. Cool. So in the game, first part is you thinned your cubes out. That's what it was doing. So we've got, let's check it out.
Milestone 2, the phase engine and sequential logic. Objective, build the state machine that cycles through the 9 game phases and manages turn order. Phase controller, create a current phase and active player state. Phase 1, change round logic to flip the next white token clockwise on the conflict tile corners. Phase 2, manipulation virtual dice roller. Logic to filter non-white tokens on the map that match the dice faces and allow the player with the lowest score to swap them. Phase 3, dispense implement the 4-2-1 cube placement steps. Validation rule, before placement, the engine must check tile dot corners to see if any corner contains a token matching the icon used by the player. Penalty logic, if no valid placement exists or supply is empty, subtract 1 VP per cube.
Okay, so when the game starts, there's a little starting icon right there. It rotates around clockwise so that when we go to the second round, this will turn over and this will turn over on the 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, 6th round, and that's it, game over. So when we do that, we reveal the action disc for the blue player, grass plus 4, reveal disc. There's 3, basically both players are going to reveal 3 discs. First disc allows you to place 4 cubes. Second disc allows you to place 2 cubes. Third disc allows you to place 1 cube. They just have to be in a hex that's touching one of those types. So this is seed, which is basically this yellow color. So I'm allowed to put 2 cubes in a hex that's touching this token. This is the only one. So it placed the number 2 for blue. Reveal the next one. This is going to be 1 cube. So I'll get to place another cube there. Boom. All right. So this is the green player. Green player has water. The water's there. You can't hardly see it. We'll place 4 cubes there. Reveal disc. Weed, there's 1 here. Place 2, and then water, which is here. So place another 1 there. Then you flip the token for the next turn. And then you roll the dice. For the next turn, you have to manipulate water and foot. So these 2 icons are going to switch places. Boom, switch places. Reveal action. We're going to go through that again. Water, weed, boom. Build disc, we're going to put 2 here. Build disc, grass, which allows us to place here. Real action, seed. They place 4 there. Water, I could do either, wind, I could do either one of these. I'll do this one. Weed, which is here. They'll go there. They'll flip the next token. Roll dice. Water and seed, so we'll go here. Switch those 2, didn't really do much. Foot, which is here. Place 4. Weed, they should be able to place 1. Any one of, oh, no, there's only 1 weed there. Reveal seed, go there. Weed, which is here. Water, which is there. Foot, which is there. Flip the next token. It's doing all of that great. Water and wind. So these 2, select them and then they'll switch. Reveal action disc. Water. another one in the water, one in the wind, green player, grass. It should allow us to place anywhere because these are grass. So here's the problem. I know the game the way that works. It's not important to you, but it's working on my game. So what we're going to tell it to do, well, I like where it's at. Before I tell it what to do, we need to be able to save this, which we can, provided that it's HTML, and it is. Cool. Share. We're going to copy the contents. We're going to go to our editor that works. There it is. We're going to save this. One moment. Save it in the right place, which is there. We'll go ahead and call this COP2, so conflict of plants game 2, because this is phase 2. Or actually, I think I called it phase 1, so let's rename it to phase 2. And we'll replace it, provided that we'll make a change real quick. This is what we were just playing. There's phase 1. There's phase 2. Let's go ahead and tell it the problem. Problem is that it's ignoring. If we look at this, you can see this says grass. I should be able to put, it should know that this is grass as well as the green tile. It's only going to allow me to place tokens here. It shouldn't allow me to place any token where the grass is laid. So, okay, so in the game, not only the color of the grass token matters, any token called grass also counts. So when we're dispensing our tokens, we should be able to go to any tile that a grass token is adjacent to, meaning we should be able to go to any hex that touches a grass token. Right now, the only grass token we can go to is the one that is dark green. That really kind of doesn't work. Is this something you're going to fix in a later milestone, or is it something you need to fix now? Oh, we have a problem. It signed me out or something. So this is our prompt. Let's go ahead and get our prompt. Let's give it the prompt again. That's why I copied it. Oops. This is that smart web thing. I guess it aired out. It's working on it. So instead of waiting for it so that we can talk to it, let's hear what it says while it's working.
You are absolutely right. This is a critical logic fix that needs to happen now, not later. In conflict of plants, the white tokens, which flip over each round, often act as grass icons. If the game engine only recognizes the specific dark green grass token, the board becomes unplayable because there aren't enough valid spots to place your cubes. I have updated the code to fix the matching logic. Now, when you reveal a grass action disk, The engine will look for any token with grass in its label, including white_grass, grass, and future ones like key_grass.
Sweet. Let's hope this is amazing. Does this HTML? No, it's that other kind of script. All right. Let's copy this and see what happens when we put it in this other Web++ thing. Looks great. Seems to work. Amazing. Okay, it's saved it as a change this to HTML. HTML on the top. Can't see the HTML at the bottom. Let's see if this code is HTML, which is great. That's what we wanted. We're going to copy the contents, put it in this cheesier Smart Web++. Save this. Index 12. Copy. We're going to change the name of that to, what do they call it here? Smart Web Pad. Great. We finally got our tools, which we're not going to need until we refactor, in case we need to refactor. Okay, so this is done. We got that. This is our way to save our files currently. This is the version that we're not so into. Here is the AI that told us what we're going to need to do in the prompt to make it happen. We don't need that anymore. Here's the action plan. We definitely need that. Here is the game that we're working on. We need to test that and we need to save it. Here's the WordPad. Here is the second version, which I don't really like, but I like the aesthetics. Here's that version of the game, phase 1. These are the same thing. Here's phase 2 of our development of the game. Let's see if this works so we can save it. All right, start the game. This should give us one of the players, and the player is going to flip over a disc. Blue player, reveal action disc. They revealed a win. There's a win there, so I can select only that tile because it's the only one touching the win token. Water, same thing. I added 2, so it used to be 6. I don't know if you 4. I don't know if you can see it now. It's 6. It's working. I'm going to reveal foot. Foot is either one of these. I like it. I am selecting this one, putting one cube there. Now for the other player, he has weed. Weed is here. He'll put 4 cubes there. Reveal foot. We got these 2 to choose from. We'll do that one. Reveal. This is only 1 cube in the water. Water is only this one. Great. Next, flip token. So it went to the next thing. We have a grass revealed. Roll dice. A wind and a foot need to be switched over. These 2 are going to be switched. Great. Reveal action disc. This is the blue player. He has 4 cubes to put in the water. This is the only one touching the water. 2 in the seed. There's only 1 seed and it's there. Put 2 cubes, so it went from 1 to 3. We're doing good. Weed. Where is it at? It's over here. Adding 1 there. From 4 it goes to, from 0 it went to 1. Now the green player. Green player, weed again, which is here. Reveal seedling, which is here. All that's working. Water, which is here. Reveal a seed, and the wind needs to change. Okay, we have weed, which is here. This isn't the full game. It's only doing the first part of the game and the end of the game because we still have more milestones to make. Water, which is here. I'm waiting for this grass. That's what I'm waiting for. Then I'll say it works. Grass, cool. Yes, I'm able to choose all three of these because there's a grass there, and a grass there. Where before it would have only noticed this grass. So I can place my one cube there, 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 or there. Awesome. Let's ask it a question. There's some of these tokens that have double grass on there, so I want to ask about that. There's some of those white tokens that have a double grass on there and the grass key, or is it weed key? I don't remember. I need to look back over the rules. Is that something that you've already developed in the game, or does that come into a later milestone? I don't remember. So since I don't code, I can't look through the code. Since I'm not the one doing the coding, I can't code it. I'm just having it do its thing, and so I have to ask it questions to know what's going on. Let's see what it says while it's working.
You are correct to spot that detail. Those special tokens, grass x2, grass x3, key grass, and white weed, are defined in the rules, but I had used a generic white grass placeholder for the milestone 2 prototype. While the scoring math for multipliers, x2/x3, belongs in milestone 4, scoring, and the key grass unlocking the center tile belongs in milestone 5, edge cases, the visual existence of these tokens is crucial for phase 1, which we just built. If you flip a token in round 4, you need to see what it actually is. I have updated the code to include the specific white token distribution and the logic for.
As it was working on that, you can see it did an error. We're going to have it fix the error, hopefully.
The key grass unlocking the conflict tile. Changes made. Expanded token underscore types, added white underscore double, white underscore triple, white underscore key, and white underscore weed. Correct distribution. In create initial state, I now create the specific pool of 8 tokens described in the rules: 2 grass, 3 doubles, 1 triple, 1 key, 1 weed, shuffle.
Okay, so we had an issue. We're going to refresh it and see where we're at. Now it's going to work through this. I didn't know what it was doing before because I had some kind of error come up. Not besides this error, there was this other thing down here that said something went wrong. Usually that's like a server connection issue with the Google servers. So refreshing it's just a better way to do it instead of having to wait and not be sure. And let's see if it's going to fix this problem or not. Because if it's not, we'll just have to back up a little bit. No big deal. This thing, I'm going to have it write this as HTML and save it just for the aesthetics. Please turn this into a HTML file so that I can play test the milestones as we go forward. Cool. It is making the changes. I'm going to save this so we don't have to have this tab open. Once we have it, we'll go ahead and save it to WordPad++. Because remember, WordPad++ is great for just HTML and plain documents. Maybe this thing is working correctly where I can just go there, export to documents. This is what I normally do instead of having to make a WordPad for this type of document. Is I would click here, export it to documents. That way I have it saved. If you have Google Docs. This is in Google Docs right now in my saved in my docs. Make sure it's saved. I don't need it for now, so I'll just put it on this side in case I need to go to it. There's the two games. We don't need to look at. Well, we'll go and do what do you call it? An evaluation of this here in a moment, or we'll take a pause and then do a second video, and then we'll do an evaluation of everything. Okay, so this is HTML now. We're looking at the code. We're copying it. We're putting it in our WordPad++. We're previewing it here. We'll go ahead and save it. Off camera, I will rename that thing as conflict of plants. No good. Later on, I'll figure it all out. All right, so we don't need this open anymore, which was this version. Let's look at the game. Okay. We asked it if we had these things in there. Let's see what it says.
I made some changes. I switched the component definitions to standard functions to resolve the reference error, app is not defined, which was likely a hosting issue. I also implemented a robust match type system for the tokens, ensuring that key grass, grass x2, grass x3, and standard grass all correctly count as valid targets for a grass action, and likewise for weed tokens.
Okay, so hopefully we'll get a grass here soon. Wind, seed, water. I'm just doing this real quick. Die roll, grass and seed, switch, reveal, wind, foot, seed. Okay, so here it says grass, so I should be able to do this one, and that's it so far. Okay, so here's the question. So let's go to the rules. Oops. And look at components. In the components, the white tokens, we're trying to look for the start token, which is here. It should be a grass. So it screwed up right here, and we're going to go ahead and tell it. The starting token actually is a grass. Underneath the starting token is the word start on the actual tile. That doesn't matter for now. It's fine if it says start on the tile, but it is a grass. Okay, so you can see here you have start. It allows me to place, I'm able to select this because it's grass. I can select here because there's a grass here. I cannot select there, and this starting token should be a grass. If you look on the game, you can't hardly see it right there, but there's the starting token is a white token, but there's a piece of grass on it. It looks different than the other ones. What I can do is make it larger, I think. You can see there's the token. It says start underneath it. There you can see it a little bit better. Right? So it's got it wrong. I thought it was wrong. It's been a long time since I've touched the game. So we need to fix that. I already prompted it to do so. We're going to fix that before we save it. I guess we should look at the rules a little bit longer. It's getting the gist. Yeah, these are the white tokens. This one's slightly different than the other ones, which is the first token that starts there. I wish I remembered this game more. It's been a long time since I've even played it. I think it's been over a year, maybe 2 years since I've played it. Probably like 2 years. All right.
I understand. The starting token acts as a grass icon for game logic, placement, scoring, etc., even though it visually indicates start. I have updated the code to set the match type of the white_start token to grass. This ensures that when you draw a grass action disc, tiles touching the start token are valid targets.
Okay, I need a better way to explain that. We have this saved, which is good. Okay, so we're currently in milestone 2. I'm trying to explain to the coder that the first the first starting disc token that goes on the hex is a grass token, and underneath is a hex that says start. Even though this is the thing, I guess we could have made the game without a starting token and just put start and pointed to that edge of that hex and put a grass icon on there on the hex itself. But there doesn't have to be a start on the token. There can be, but there needs to be grass on there as well. Give me a prompt. Don't put it in the canvas area. Just put it in the prompt area that I can tell the coder so it better understands what I'm trying to say. And if you don't understand, let's brainstorm the prompt and go back and forth. I don't know why one thing about AI is that it's very confident. AI will always assume that it knows the right way and it'll just go. Anytime I tell it, hey, buddy, if you don't know, ask, it's not going to ask. It's just going to do. It's just going to make it up because it's like, I'll make it up now and it'll fix it later.
I understand. You want a specific prompt to give to your coder to ensure the start token logic is handled correctly without it just being a visual marker. You want to make sure the coder treats that first fixed white token as a functional grass icon that acts as the anchor for the entire game's round rotation. Here is a prompt you can copy and paste to your AI coder. Prompt for milestone 2.
It understands. It sounds like.
Starting token logic. In the initialization of the map, milestone 1/2, please implement the following logic for the conflict tile. 0, 0, the start anchor. Designate one specific corner of the conflict hex as the start vertex. White token number 1. This vertex must be initialized with the first white token already in a face-up state. Mechanical value. Logically, this token must be assigned the value grass. Even though it is the start marker for round tracking, it
understands it. And it's pretty redundant. It's stuff it's already done. But it's better to be redundant than not. Because it doesn't have any feelings, you don't have to worry about you treating it stupid, like it's stupid. It's not going to come back with, why are you treating me like I'm stupid? I know. Stuff like that. And let's look at the milestones. What were we supposed to get done in milestone 1? Let's reevaluate that.
Coordinate system. Implement an axial, QR, hex coordinate system. The graph map, * create a tiles object where keys are axial coordinates. Create a corners object. Each corner must be uniquely identified by the 3 tiles that meet at that point. Logic rule, every tile object must have a reference to its 6 corners. Every corner object must have a reference to its 1 to 3 tiles. Token state, corners must hold a token slot. Tiles must hold a cubes object, tracking counts for all 4 colors. Initial setup logic, write the script to shuffle and place the 6 starting tiles around a 0,0 conflict tile and populate the 6 corners of the conflict tile with the initial white tokens, 5 face down, 1 face up.
Okay, so let's look at that. Let's see how well it did that. Okay, so we have the different ones, right? So marsh, we have 2 marshes. Okay, the one thing about this is that it's static. It is static. It did only partial of phase 1. I should have checked that. We'll have to go back and fix that. Let's see if this changes it. We don't have the logic for all of milestone 1. So let's fix that also. Okay, so this should have it fixed. Let's see what it says. We'll listen to it.
Have implemented the logic for the start anchor on the conflict tile. Implementation details. Data structure, token underscore types. The white underscore start token is now explicitly defined with label, start for the UI, but match type, grass for the logic engine. This ensures the placement and scoring algorithms treat it identical to a green grass token. Initialization, create initial state the conflict tile, 0,0, setup.
Okay, so let's go ahead and test it. It's going to take a second. Weed, which is here. Wind, which is also there. Water, which is there. Weed, which is here. Seed, which is here. Next turn, roll dice. We have weed. That's fine. It's not enough to switch. So let's reveal action tokens. Water. Grass. So yes, now the starting token, well, I can't tell because there's already a grass there. So let's go ahead and try it again. Make sure the grass isn't touching that token. So good. So let's try water. Great. It did push 4. Put 2 in the foot. It did. Grass. Okay, grass works there. Grass works there. Grass works there. We'll get a grass in a minute. That'll be somewhere else. It seems to be working. Reveal. Weed, which is here. Grass. We're just waiting till we get a grass and some more to make sure that it's working correctly. We roll dice. We'll switch this grass and this foot. Weed, which is here. Foot, which is there. Water, which is there. Grass. Okay, so here's the grass that was revealed. There's that grass, and there's these 2 grass. Everything's working. Great. Okay, so get the code. Let's go to the web. Plus, plus, plus. Boom, put it there. We have it there. We need to save it. I'm going to rename it. Of course, with a regular program, that'll be a lot easier. And sure, use one of those. The whole reason I did that is just to make sure that you know that AI can get you through problems. I've already said that 3 times. We're going to call this, what do we call it? A foe. Let's go there. It's under Gemini Stream. That's all offline. Phase 2. So we're going to call this Phase 2. Okay. Yeah, my naming conventions suck. There it is. Awesome. Don't need that. There's our action plan. There's an earlier version of phase 2. We have phase 1, phase 2. Let's go back to phase 1 and remind it of some of this stuff. Because we're missing some stuff here. What was it? Oh, okay. So check it out. Here's what we do. Like I said, use AI to help you find your problems. Boom. We're going to upload, was it phase 2.2? Boom. I've given it the file. I'm also going to give it we're going to give it our conflict of plant rules. And we're going to give it that document. We'll just paste it in there. We only need phase 1 and phase 2. Then we'll go over here. I'm going to go. I have a list of milestone 1 and 2. I need to look at these this code and see if phase 1 and phase 2 have been completely implemented, or if we need to write a prompt for the coder, who's AI, to implement something it missed in phase 1 or phase 2. There is, okay, so I gave it that prompt, and I also put in phase 1. Where does it start? To implement search, okay, in phase 1 or 2. I put this in quotes. Don't think I need to. It would know where it starts and ends, but just to make sure. It's going to look at the code and tell us what it's missing. I was about to do it manually. I was about to go, okay, is this in there? Is this in there? It's reviewing the game. It's reviewing phase 2, and it's looking at the milestones to see what is missing. And then we're going to use that prompt, put it back in the coder, and tell them, hey, buddy, you forgot this.
Based on the provided code, Phase 2.2, HTML, and the master action plan, I have assessed the implementation status of milestones 1 and 2. The current code is a partial implementation. While the core graph engine and happy path phase logic are working, there are specific logic requirements from the master action plan, MAP, that are missing, specifically regarding randomization in milestone 1 and penalty, supply logic in milestone 2. Assessment of milestone.
Okay, so it gave us a prompt. Required action for AI coder. Boom, here's the line.
Milestone 1. Data architecture and hex graph. Coordinate system, Q, R, implemented. The hex utils and tiles object use axial coordinates correctly. The graph, map, implemented. The relationship between tiles and corners is established via tile ids and corner ids. Token state, implemented. Corners hold token objects.
Okay, so right here, like it's telling us a bunch of stuff that we don't understand because we're not coders, and it's getting into the weeds. This is the main thing we have to know right here. Copy and paste the following. Now, we're going to go back. I'm doing this basically because of I'm streaming it. This is the prompt we're going to give it. But what we could do...
Tiles hold cube counts.
I don't understand what's exactly missing. Can you explain that to me as though I am not a coder? Just tell me in some plain, easy, not jargon-filled language. So this is what you would do. I would do this if I was on my own. I was going to skip it because I was streaming, but I guess you need to know the process. Here we go, plain English.
Based on the rules of the board game in the file you uploaded, here is the plain English explanation of what is missing. Right now, the digital version behaves more like a demo than a real game because it is missing 3 critical rules that make the game challenging. 1. The map is never shuffled. The problem: in a card game, you shuffle the decks so every game is different. Right now, your game sets up the board exactly the same way every single time. The swamp, forest, and desert tiles are always in the exact same spots. The fix:
Okay, so we have map doesn't shuffle. Players have infinite ammo. There is no penalty for being stuck. And we'll finish that, and we'll go ahead and send it the instructions. While it's doing that, we'll
Computer
listen.
needs to shuffle the land tiles so the map looks different every time you play. 2. Players have infinite ammo. The problem: in the real board game, you only have a specific number of cubes, 31 or 36, in your supply bag. Once you run out, you can't place anymore. In your current digital version, the players have magic pockets with infinite cubes. The fix: the computer needs to count how many cubes you have left and stop you from placing them if your bag is empty. 3. There is no penalty for being stuck. The problem: this is the most important missing rule. Sometimes the game tells you to place cubes on a specific tile, like water, but there might not be any legal water spots on the board. Currently, the game just sits there waiting for you to click something that doesn't exist. It freezes because it doesn't know what to do. The rule: if you cannot place your cubes, either because you ran out or there are no valid spots, you are supposed to lose victory points as a penalty. The fix: the game needs a button that says, "I can't move," which then subtracts points from your score and lets the game continue to the next turn.
Sweet. So that told us this complex stuff very easily. We have the prompt for that. Of course, those are all things that need to be fixed. It's working on the fixing. We can look at the code and see it's generating. It's done. Okay, so we'll take the current code. We're going to copy that. We're going to put it in here. We're going to say, here's the code that the coder generated. Does it look like he followed the prompt? Are the changes made? We'll put parentheses. Here's the code. Send it. While it's doing that and reading that, we'll look at the game. Start. Marsh. It's doing that random thing. Yeah, it's got one part of it right. It's moving them. They're randomly being placed. That's cool. Awesome. Oh, let's hear what it has to say.
Yes, the coder has followed the prompt and implemented all 3 requested changes. Here is the breakdown of the changes found in the code. 1. Map randomization, milestone 1 fix, status, implemented. The code now includes a Fisher-Yates shuffle.
So it's saying all 3 milestone things are fixed. Fix. Cool. So we're just going to assume that it's fixed. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and we had a separate AI look at it and say everything's cool. We're going to save the file. This is going to be all of phase 2, so we can replace our original phase 2 with this and get rid of phase 2, which I'm going to do. And delete that. Delete our other phase 2 because we don't really need it. I mean, I have copies, but essentially I'm deleting the 2 phase 2s, copying this guy, pasting it into our file, renaming it to phase 2. All right. Boom, get rid of this guy. Phase 1, we don't need it anymore, or we don't need to look at it anymore. We don't need this guy for now. I'm going to leave him there because we're going to use him to verify this last AI to verify and check, make sure that things are being implemented. We're going to take a break, come back, and hopefully this second part of the video will be a lot shorter because I'm not having to build a web page plus HTML text editor thing, so it should be a lot easier. We'll just be able to focus on the game. So part 2 of the video will be a lot easier. I'll be back in like 15 minutes or so. How do you turn this damn thing off?